Picture this, a recording studio somewhere far, far away.
Welcome to the fantasy zone. Get ready.
Welcome, Watchers of Illusion, to my Castle of Confusion. It's the 4th of February, 2020, and I'm looking at RoboCop on the Game Boy. Although we're running this through a Game Boy Color, so we're actually getting a little bit of colour in it, which is quite nice. If you're playing this on a standard Game Boy, by the way, it would be black and white. So it's quite nice that it's actually trying to give us a little bit of colour. Anyway, so we can crack on. Now, the starting bit of the music actually takes some of the music from the movie. I think it's probably the first RoboCop game that actually does, which is great because it's the first, it's the first sort of thing that we hear when the RoboCop theme tune comes on. But in the other versions, it's absent, and I'm not quite sure why. Well, it does go back into a sort of a general standard thing. Now, you're probably thinking, well, this is just a port of the Spectrum version, isn't it, Rich? Well, yes, it is, sort of. But there's a few significant changes. I mean, there's a brand new bad guys. There's the grenade thrower, for example. You actually have infinite ammo on this, and they've included the Commodore 64's jump. And I'm not sure why they even put that in the game in the first place. It's not like RoboCop could jump, big heavy robot machine jumping around. Just doesn't make sense. But there we are. But yeah, a bit of trivia for you, actually, before we crack on with everything else. And this kind of falls under the music and that. But did you know that in the United Kingdom, they used the theme tune from the menu title screen on an advert? Yes, it was for a company called Ariston, and basically their tagline was on and Ariston, and I think one of their adverts went on for a record-breaking 2.5 minutes. But yes, they used the RoboCop theme tune for that. So, and I do mean the Game Boy version of the theme tune. So there you go, bit of trivia for you. If you get asked in a pub quiz, you now know the answers. But you can see it's fairly good, and it's very consistent with the Speccy version, which is nice. I think it's probably a bit smoother than the Spectrum, because I think they use the same processors, which is interesting. But yeah, those guys hit like a son of a bun. And it's one life. Great. Okay, so you have one life to try and finish the levels. That's lovely, that. That was the music I was talking about. Anyway, let's have a look at it. Well, first of all, it's lovely. For a Game Boy game, it's like having a Spectrum in your hand, I suppose. But it's very smooth. But yeah, I like the animations are nice as well. Robo walking there, it literally does the Robo walk, which is very, very nice. These running kung fu guys, I don't remember them being in the Speccy version, but they're quite easy to avoid. You can duck and then they'll fly straight over your head. Look at the UI for a sec. You can see your gun in the bottom left corner there with how much ammo it's got, which is at the moment it's infinite. But other guns that you get down the line have limited ammunition, so that would tell you how much you've got. So the bad guys are quite cool. They've got all the same sort of dying animations as seen in the Speccy version, and also in Batman, which is another great game. But yeah, it's nice, and to be fair, I like it through the GBC as well, because it's actually, oh dear, not doing very well, am I? Anyway, it's kind of nice to have the Spectrum version of the game, but sort of enhanced. The Game Boy Color gives it that nice bit of, colour, which is quite nice. So there we are. Robo actually in his sort of, as they've given him a nice tint, which is quite nice. So he's not just black and white. He looks like maybe bronze RoboCop. Anyway, so yeah, let's have a look at the sound and the music. It's very, very basic, as you probably would have imagined being a Game Boy. But the music's nice, and the sound effects are quite good. You've got obviously the gunfire noises and everything else. So yeah, it's all good. And in-game music as well, always a bonus. I'm quite impressed that they've managed to squeeze the music in as well, and obviously using the AY, which is really nice. And you just get a really, I mean, I just don't think a musicless RoboCop would work very well. But yeah, it's just really quite good. If you're a fan of the Spectrum version and probably the Amstrad version as well, you're going to absolutely love this game. And oh, those guys in the window. But yeah, these guys pop up as they normally do. It's hard to preempt them as well. I mean, you could probably learn the levels if you really wanted to and find out where they appear, but I don't think that's really necessary. Just get on with it, run and gun, and this is the chainsaw guys. They're not as tough on this as on the Specky version, strangely enough, but they are still fairly tough. If you let one hit you, you're in for a bit of a massacre. They hurt. But, you know, if you plough them with enough bullets, and I really recommend staying away from the three-way shot, by the way, just a bit of a tip, because it's not as powerful as your gun. It's slower firing, and obviously one bullet at a time. It's a bit, you know, it's one of them. But yeah, there you go. It's up to you if you shoot these guys. I tend to go back. If they hit me, I tend to go back and shoot them. Just you know, vengeance and all that. Controls, let's have a look at those. So you've got your left and right, down is duck, and up actually aims, not jumps, which is nice. You've got your A and B for that. So one shoots, one jumps. Very nice and simple. To aim, you just basically go diagonally up, and it will sort of lock itself in that position as well. Oh my god. So you've got to basically recenter your gun afterwards. I'm not sure if that was... I don't think that happened on the Spectrum version. I think if you held your diagonal, as soon as you let go, it recentered the gun. This is because talking and playing at the same time. I think that's what it is. I do believe. Anyway, I don't care because it gives me another chance to play again. So there we are. Absolutely great. And I think if you're into the RoboCop games, you'd enjoy this one. This one needs to be added to your Robo collection. Playability wise, well, if you've played the Specky version or any of the 8-bit ones, then you probably know what to expect, apart from the C64 version, which was bugged and you couldn't complete it. Other than that, playability wise, yeah, I think you come back to this even if you complete it. I remember going back to the Spectrum one numerous times because it was just that damn good. So replay factor kind of goes in, hold hands to that, and yes, you will be replaying RoboCop a fair bit, especially as it's instant load cartridge. I think that really it's just worth chucking it in your Game Boy, loading it up, and having a good blast, because that is what it's all about at the end of the day. So, recommending RoboCop to anyone who likes Souls. Let me get my words out today. Side-scrolling shoot-em-ups. Yes. Age range, well, the movie was an 18, but the game itself, probably more like a 12. Just because of the, you know, you are shooting people. It's up to you. Parents, it's up to you. So there we are. Obviously, it's a side-scrolling shoot-em-up featuring Mr. Alex Murphy there, and it's only a one-player game. But I don't see how they could have done a link-up with 2 players on RoboCop. But this is one of the better RoboCop games I've played. So, if you've been following the channel and you've seen Robo on the Specky, go and have a compare. In fact, would you like me to do a comparison at some point with all the versions of RoboCop, perhaps starting with the arcade and going through? Because there's not actually any. I think the Amiga version might be the only one that's actually got any relevance to the arcade version. I don't think any of the others actually follow the arcade at all. I think Ocean just basically did what they wanted to do with the limitations of what they got, which was, well, this basically. But yeah, I'm quite impressed that they've managed to do this. Let's see if they've actually managed to squeeze in. I think this is probably the end of the level, so let's have a look and see if they've squeezed the shoot the mugger in the alleyway bit in. Oh, yes, I think they have. Awesome. Now, the only thing is, in the Spectrum version... Oh, I keep saying it. There you go, drinking game. Every time I say Spectrum version, take a shot. Anyway, basically, yeah. Apart from the fact that RoboCop on the Specky walks up into the alleyway, which is just a minor thing, but it's so cool. But here we are, level 2. So far, it seems to have followed the formula fairly well. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the game, RoboCop, on the Game Boy. And I've been Rich, this has been the Retro Revival Show, and I'll catch you next time. Keep it retro, bye for now!